Hi there, and welcome to KWC here at Kingdom Wealth Creators. There's this question that people had been asking, and I decided to put this video up simply because this is also something that we discussed at our last learning session, and I hope that this really helps you all. In case you want to see further videos like this and further updates, please remember to subscribe to our YouTube page and hit that bell button so that you can get notifications whenever we put an up video up. All right. So a question that people always have is what why diversify? And so my answer to this is very simple. We diversify to reduce risk, because I want you to understand that risk is something that is there for everything in life. Okay, and unlike most other problems or issues, risk is not something that can be solved. It is not a problem that you can solve. It is something that you can only manage. For example, if you are a doctor and you are going to do an operation, and the patient's family would ask you, is there any risk to this operation? Of course, there is risk to every operation. There's risk getting out of your today, there's risk getting out of your door and getting onto the street, even. And so it is important for us to know that we cannot solve risk, as in make it zero. We can only learn how to manage risk, and one of the ways to manage risk on the stock market is to diversify. Now, how do we diversify? Well, I have already mentioned this quite a few times, but to diversify basically means you can do it in terms of methodology. You can make sure that you are involved in long-term holdings. You have a bit of swing trading going on where you're trading short-term, and you also do participate in intraday. Now, I'm not saying that's the rule that everybody should do all of these. Some of us don't have the time for that. Some of us don't have the expertise. Some of us don't have the patience. So whichever is your best suited method, please go ahead and do that. But it makes a lot of sense to do all three. All right. And so it's important we diversify our methods. We also need to diversify where we, put our portfolio down. Now, a portfolio is basically the collection of shares, or the collection of stocks that we have in various companies. And here's the thing: I've noticed many people in their portfolio will have like 60% of their portfolio is made out of one single share, or single company. What happens in that sense is that if that company goes down very quickly or something, their entire portfolio is at risk. Okay, and so the best thing to do is to balance out your portfolio among various companies, and not just companies but various sectors as well. For example, the NSE has a lot of these sectors, and these are all indexes in the Nifty. But you will notice that the auto industry is a sector, consumer durables is a sector, financial services is a sector, FMCG is a sector, the IT industry is a sector, media, metal, oil and gas, pharma. Even the banking industries, there's the private banks, there's the public banks, the real estate sector, the industrial sector. So there is a whole bunch of sectors within the market. And you should understand, during the last 3 months when the market crashed, you can see that while a lot of these sectors crashed, there were some sectors like, say, chemicals, or FMCG, or healthcare, which includes pharmaceuticals, footwear, uh, retailing, software, and IT services. All of these kind of showed a little bit of buoyancy even as the rest of the market crashed. And this is simply because you got to understand that when you invest into the market, you're actually trying to choose the sectors or the companies that will outperform the market in general. For example, if the market is going up by 100 points, you don't want to be holding a share that will only go up by 10 points, right? It makes no sense. You're trying to make sure that you are holding shares or stocks that are actually going to outperform the the Nifty, or the market. And so when we invest into sectors, we're looking for sectors that outperform or outpace the market. And so that is something that you can figure out by watching this very sector performances. And it is important that we, allocate our portfolio accordingly by dividing it among sectors, and giving it a balance to thereby reducing the risk. Okay, the diversity, the more you diversify your holdings, the less risk that you carry. Okay. When it comes to shares, even I want you to know that in the learning session, I talked a lot about this. I showed a lot of examples from my own holdings, where I have about 38 shares in my portfolio, and they are from different sectors. Many of them are sectors that are outperforming the market. There is large cap stocks, there's mid cap stocks, there's small cap stocks, and so I have, and even among the sectors, the companies that I pick are the ones that are fundamentally the best among those companies in that sector. And so there's a lot of analysis, both technical and fundamental, that I put in before I buy shares. And I want you to know that if you're interested in something like that, please do sign up for the learning sessions. It will really help you, especially if you come for these sessions online, because a lot of it doesn't get replicated on the videos that I put out. Okay, and so we also need to diversify among the shares that we have. Now, one of the couple of thumb rules that I would like to share with you before we end is that one, no sector should have more than 25% of your portfolio. For example, if banks have 60% of your portfolio, the banks were totally outperformed by the market during the last few months. It's just like this week, the banks have started picking up pace. So if you are holding 60-70% of your portfolio in banks, you would have suffered. And so it is important that, at the same time, you do need banks. You do need different sectors, but you can't have, your portfolio allocation done in such a way that one sector is more than 25 or 30% of your portfolio. No, ideally, it should be anywhere less than 25. A good base would be 10 to 20%. Should not be more than 10 to 20% shouldn't be given into a single sector. But in some cases, it's okay, because especially when some sectors are outperforming the entire market at this moment. Okay, but make sure that your weightage of your portfolio is not given disproportionately to any sector. When it comes to shares, I want you to know that the thumb rule that we use is that not more than 6% of our portfolio should be given to a single share. Now, like I said, I have about 36 to 38 shares in my portfolio. Initially, when I started, some of these shares went up as high as 14, 15, 20%. But gradually, what I've done is, as I've increased my portfolio, I've reduced the weightage for each share. The worst that I have right now is 8% in a single share. Two shares actually have 8%, but everything else is less than 5%, 4%, 3%. And so I have divided my portfolio in such a way that my risk is minimum. Even when some shares are performing well, it's not that every share, if I had 60% of my portfolio in one share, if that share performs badly, my entire portfolio gets affected. But if out of my 38 shares, if 2 or 3 perform badly, or even if 10 or 20, 10, 15 perform badly, the other would make up for this when they perform better. And so that is the risk reduction that I have laid out in my portfolio. So I want you guys to know that, if you have a portfolio, you want to have a free checkup to see how this portfolio is, whether it's good, it's balanced, whether it's it has reduced risk, you can just contact me. I will help you with that. I have no problems. I can teach you how to look at your own portfolio and decide as well. And so if you have any further queries, do contact me at this number. But also remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell notifications, because we have videos coming out regularly, and I want you guys to learn well and to get better at investing. Here at Kingdom Wealth Creators, our single goal is to make sure that you're fully equipped to create wealth the right way. So thank you so much. I'll see you soon.